Hello and welcome to an episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews. My name is Jacob and today I've got an unboxing video for you guys, so let us get right into this one. Now, I'm really certain I know what is in this box, but hopefully I don't jinx it, but I'm betting we got a MonsterArts figure in this thing today. The reason I know is because this package is from Japan, and right now there are a bunch of restrictions for posting stuff from Japan to Australia. Yeah, they're basically not letting anything ship from Japan that's like the cheaper methods of postage. However, a big shout out to Nin Games, I think that's how it's pronounced, ningames.com. So they're an online store from Japan that sells video games and action figures and collectibles and all that good stuff. And they actually upgraded the postage on my order here from the regular cheap postage to DHL postage, meaning that this thing was shipped really quickly and that it actually shipped to Australia, because I've been having issues with other places, other sites on from Japan, like HobbyLink Japan. I think I ordered the X Plus Yuji Sakai series Godzilla 1984 figure from there. I pre-ordered it there so long ago, and then it became available, but they couldn't post it, and I'm just waiting, and it's just like been fucking forever for that figure to arrive. So goddamn long, and like it still hasn't been shipped. I have no idea when the postage restrictions are gonna end. But in the meantime, we should have a MonsterArts figure in here from Nin Japan. Oh, Nin Game, rather. So, let's see. There we go. So, he comes in this basic flat box. Beautiful. So, look at that. Not only did they upgrade the shipping, they actually posted it well. So, there's a cardboard box around the front, extra bubble wrap, and then there's the normal MonsterArts shipping box. There we go. Look at that. Oh, well, the box is actually a teeny bit dented, but again, this is just the exterior box, so that's no biggie. So on the front here it says SH MonsterArts, and then there's something in Japan. So I'm guessing that says Burning Godzilla. It's got the word Godzilla there, 2019. And do we have anything in English? No, surprisingly. Oh no, we do. Burning Godzilla, 2019. You see that, people? It says Burning Godzilla, not Fire Godzilla. Now we got triggered people in the comment section. Yay! Anyway, let's open this thing up and actually get the proper figure out. Now, what I like to do is use a little ruler just to help lever these things out, because I really hate it when I kind of jam my fingers in there and it bends the box and all that stuff. So, a little ruler helps a lot. There we go. And we got our classic MonsterArts font right there, Burning Godzilla 2019. Let's slide this thing out if we can. This will be a little tricky. It should be good. Look at that. There we go. Yeah. There's our box. There's the front of the box, looking really neat. We got the figure at the front there, looking really menacing. Just got the font on the side there. More photos of the figure on the back here in traditional MonsterArts style, looking really neat. Unlike some of the other boxes in this line, this whole box is in that sort of matte look. Some of the other MonsterArts boxes in the past have had like a matte finish on all of the backing stuff, but then stuff like the actual photo of the figure and like the print has had a bit of a glossy sheen over it, so the boxes have looked a little bit nicer in the past. But, you know, this one's okay for what it is. I don't really get these figures for the boxes, but that's just a slight thing that I recall that some of these other boxes may have done a little bit better. But with that, let's get into the figure itself. So I'm just gonna get my little knife again, and we will free him from down here. Doesn't really matter whether you do it from bottom or top. I generally do it from the bottom, because that way if you ever are in a situation when you want to display your boxes, it's less obvious that that you levered it out from the bottom or cut the tape at the bottom. but it honestly doesn't matter. It's just my little thing. But we'll leave her this side and this side. And we got an instant plasticky kind of a smell coming out of this box. So a very fresh vinyl smell, even though I don't think these ones are made of vinyl. Maybe they're made of a type of vinyl, I'm not sure. Probably like a PVC, which is technically vinyl anyway. So I can put that to the side, and here he is. Look at that. First MonsterArts figure I've had on this show in quite a while now, actually. I don't really remember what the last one was, but look at that. Got him all packaged up here. Let's free him and we can actually see what he looks like out of all this plastic. So, does he come with anything? Nah. Unfortunately, he does not come with any accessories by the looks of it, but hopefully the figure itself will be cool enough. Okay. And he's falling apart. That's, ooh, he smells, very MonsterArts-ish, that fresh MonsterArts smell. But his tail did pop off, which is very normal for opening up MonsterArts figures, I find. So, let's get him out. I'll just reassemble him in a second. He does come with all this little extra bit of plastic and all these little tiny bits that just float in there somewhere to help him not shake around, I guess, in postage, which is all good. I think the exact same thing happened to my other MonsterArts Godzilla, the non-burning version when he arrived as well, or something similar. This happens quite a lot. So it's cool though when he does fall apart, because you can really see how they build these figures. Really see all the different joints and mechanisms they have in there to hold him together. So there's a lot going on in there. Hopefully, it's hard for you guys to see this because I've actually got the light coming in from the back here, but it's really cool seeing the light go through his spines, because he is made of a transparent, or translucent, I should say, plastic. I think all of him is made of that plastic, so he does look really cool with some light passing through him. But from what you're seeing, he does kind of look like a big Dorito chip or something like that. Alright, so I finally got the tail on him. It was a little bit tricky to force it in because the peg kept like sliding off to the side when I was trying to put it in, and it's a really firm ball joint, which is good because it means the tail has, you know, firm joints. It can hold its pose really well. Not that this particular MonsterArts has the most poseable tail, actually, which is really odd. I remember the 2014 variant had a much more flexible tail. It was a bit loose and wobbly, but it definitely could move quite a bit more. But this is the, you know, the same thing happened on the other version of this figure, the non-burning version of the 2019 MonsterArts, which we will bring in to compare this thing to kind of towards the end. But right now, let's take a look at this figure himself. So, of course, the main draw of this figure isn't so much the sculpt, though the sculpt and the articulation on this thing is phenomenal, just like the other version of it. But the real reason people are getting this thing is for the paintwork and the type of plastic that this thing is made of. So this guy is made of transparent or translucent orange plastic, and he's painted again in that really orangey, burny pattern, and it looks really cool. Really, really cool. I can't really see it right now, but I am seeing the light shining through it because I got the window over there in front of me, and there's just the light going through the spines. Looks really neat. You can see it through his hands and around his face, and just all the little thinner areas of his body, which is really neat. What I'll actually try and do, so I got a little weird lamp here. If I put it behind him, perhaps you guys can experience that too. Hopefully that is coming out on video for you guys, but you can see, especially through the bottom of the spines, that light is definitely shining through it, and it should shine through all of this plastic here. It's a little weird to try and get it on film is the thing, because otherwise it just kind of light overexposes the camera in that area, and it's a little weird. But he's definitely, you can see it around his hands, that light's just pouring through his hands. Should be the same on his legs as well. So it's shining through his legs and his feet. Yeah, so that's really cool. That's the main draw of this figure. Let's get him in nice and close so you can really get a good look at this new paint application that they've done to this Godzilla here. So same exact sculpt, like I keep saying, as the original 2019 Godzilla. So a really, really cool sculpt. Got that really mean looking face there, done in a nice sort of orangey red. His eyes really pop out because they did those in a solid yellow color. You can see his tongue is really, really translucent looking, really cool. Great articulation there on his head. Got a good range of motion around there. And we got his spines, which have a little bit of yellow, more of a bright yellow paint kind of washed over them. And all these other scales around his body are either done in that sort of orangey color, or they have a more blackish red dry brush done over them to look more like the sort of hardened, cooler areas of his skin, whereas you can see the heat radiating through the cracks underneath, kind of like magma surging up through a rock, or lava and stuff like that. So it looks really neat like that. Let's take a good look. His details are on the front. Really nice scaling around his belly there, really effective. And again, that dry brushing really helps bring out all those details so much better actually than the original version of this guy, the unburning 2019 Godzilla MonsterArts figure, just because there is so much variety in the paint here, and that dry brushing really highlights all the little tiny details, because the original version of this figure has the same exact beautiful sculpt, but he's very bland paint-wise, so this is really cool. You can see he's got his tail running down here. Again, that sort of shiny orangey paint on his little spines there, which are transparent or translucent. And that darker red blackish paint sort of dry brushed on the edges. Got more of an orangey color underneath him. You can see some legal information under his feet there. Those are really cool, much improved claws on the 2019 design as compared to the 2014, at least in my opinion. And you can see his feet there, which really reminds me of that scene in the movie where when Ghidorah is sort of unsuspectedly standing around and Godzilla gets into his burning pose, and then burning mode, and then just like crashes down onto buildings, and the camera pans up as stuff like melts around him. So that's really reminiscent of that scene in the film, so it looks really neat there. You can take a look at his back here. There's a bit less paint on the inside of the spines, but that's not an issue at all because like you're not really going to see that. But just a good look there. It's much more of a yellow paint around there. So all in all, he looks a lot like the pictures we've seen. He's very, very burny, orangey looking. So I hope that gave you guys a good little look at all this detailing and the paintwork on this thing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to briefly bring out a couple of figures just to compare him to, just so you guys can see what he looks like next to, say, the other Burning Godzilla from MonsterArts, the 1996 one, or 1995 one, I mean, or the, what's it called? This guy here, the Comic-Con exclusive Meltdown Godzilla, whatever he was called. So we'll bring in a couple of figures like that. So I've just brought out all my reddish translucent type Godzillas that I happen to have on hand in my collection, and yeah, they look so cool together actually. I'm not really sure you're getting quite the same effect as I am, because I got, again, more of the light coming through from the window, and it just kind of makes them glow a little bit, and it just looks real neat. But you can see here, just look so cool next to each other. So we got the MonsterArts that we unboxed today. We've got the NECA MonsterArts 2019 Burning Godzilla. People have been saying that this one is a bootleg version because I got him off AliExpress, and he seems a tad tiny bit different than the official NECA one, just paint-wise, but I don't know. He seems so close to it in my eyes, it's hard to tell. And we've got the Comic-Con exclusive SH MonsterArts, I think this was like 1994 Godzilla, which is the Meltdown version or something like that. And then we got this Godzilla 2000 theater exclusive vinyl or whatever he's called, I don't know. And then we got the Burning Godzilla 1995 version MonsterArts, and then we just got the regular 2019 Godzilla MonsterArts over here. So yeah, a good little comparison of figures here, which I will do a far more in-depth comparison with when I do a full review of this guy, which should be coming up fairly soon, hopefully. But I just thought this would be really cool to show off to you guys, just so you can really see the differences between these figures here. Real quick, I'll probably compare him just to the NECA a little bit more, just so you guys get more of an idea, because that's probably one of the main figures that this guy will be contending with on the market. Here is a good side-by-side comparison of these figures. Got the NECA over here and the MonsterArts here, and yeah, they're very similar scale-wise. This guy's kind of slouched over a little bit more. I'll have to kind of work his articulation a little bit, just see what kind of, how I can pose him a little bit taller, because some of these new, when you get a new MonsterArts, you really need to fiddle around with that for a little bit, even if it's one you're a bit more familiar with, but you gotta, you know, unstiffen some of these joints to help get them up like that. But you can see they're about the same scale, same character and design and all of that stuff. Actually, strangely enough, just in this lighting, the NECA seems to be looking a little bit better. At least the dark patches on his body, it kind of looks kind of really cool with that reddish and the black paint on him. But in person, I actually find that the MonsterArts looks so much better. So it might just be the lighting that we have and the specific angles that they're standing at, and the background being a little bit more bright here. But there you guys go. He looks a little bit nicer over here, actually. But there's a fair comparison of the two. The NECA is much cheaper, of course, but the detailing is a little bit less on him, and a little bit less with the articulation as well. A much more simpler figure, whereas the MonsterArts is, you know, a bit more high-end and a bit more technical. But both of these figures are actually really cool, and I'm happy to have both of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time with this figure, compare him to some other figures, just get to know him, and then eventually I'll do a little bit more of a full review and give you guys my thoughts on this Burning Godzilla from MonsterArts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because it's always super awesome when you guys do that. And until next time, may all your vinyl be irradiated vinyl. Over and out.